This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
So let me share my screen first. Where we are here. Before this, we completed these two topics. Okay. Now today we will see these two topics and another chapter, print and test statements. Okay. So first of all, I'll just revise whatever we covered. Practically, I'll check. So if I take here one variable L1 and if I store like this values, so it will give me an output, right? So this is called what type of data here. If I try here L1, so what I will get the output
List.
list. And instead of that, if I write L2 and then if I start here some interview question I just want to share with you. If I write like this, so it will also work. Remember this also works, but remember this will not give any output. So here there is no output here, but they will keep it as it is empty. So if you try here L2, this is also list, but here output is 1 2 2 3 4 5 6, not uh, empty space. Okay, so this is very important. Sometime in an interview they will ask you this type of question. We definitely choose it will give an error, but here it will not give an error. So this is important thing. And now another thing is what we have called concept dictionary. Suppose in dictionary we can store data using we can initialize dictionary using dict method. Dict is a constructor, you can say constructor. What is constructor? Which will allocate memory and store memory according to that type what we define here. The type of this constructor is dictionary, so it will store allocate memory according to the type. Remember, so here the type is dictionary, so definitely it will store data type in dictionary. So this will become an empty dictionary. So here if we check again type, we'll get dictionary, but this is empty dictionary. So if I try with d1, I will not get any data. So here what how I can store the data using this parenthesis. So here I can store any value like this, and then enough. So d1 of 2 or anything, any value 3, and then some values. So I can store anything, even I can store a string. Here I'm storing a string, and then with the help of a string I can store any number as well, no problem. So when I try with d1, I'll get all output as different. So here there is no sequence. And another thing is what we can store any n number of elements here basically. So how we can find out how many members methods we have here? Again, we have one method called dir, which will help us to find out the members inside that particular object. So this is, it will take an object and that object will return how many members methods you have in that object. So here we have this type of members. In that last time we saw atoms and keys and values, right? So keys and values, what is the purpose of keys and values? So with the help of d1 dot keys, we'll get all data. With the help of d1 dot values, here is an value basically, so it will return all values. So this is the concept of keys and value. If I don't know how to use items, so what I will do, instead of writing this, I'll write items, and then here I will use help. I don't know how to use items, so I'll use help method. So help method is predefined method which will accept your argument. Means you, in that argument it will accept a method name. Here method name is items, and that method should be defined in proper order. That means the from where it is coming. So you cannot write items. Maybe item it is in maybe in list or dictionary or set or tuples or anywhere. So we don't know. So that's why we need to write complete path for that. So then only help will understand, and it will try to read the data from that path what you specified. So when you press this key, you will get values here. So what you will get, you no need to specify any argument, and it will return list of D's. What D's? D's means dictionary. Dictionary contain two things, key and value. Yes, as a tuples it will return. Remember, as a tuples it will return. So what do we mean by these things? I will show you. D1 dot items and then close. So here you will see it will return as in a form of tuples. It will become one value. So this is one value, second value, third value. Like that, it will return the values, and each value you can find out with the help of count or other methods also. So if you try here len, so you'll get 3. Why 3? Because number of elements is 3. Number of elements is 3, and each element contain two values, key and value. So this is the main thing in that dictionary. So first of all, we will go with another basic method like tuples and sets, and in that we will see what we can do with this tuples and set. And after this we will go with another examples. Okay, so first of all I'll go with tuples. Here I'll try with tuples. So here we seen already a list and tuples, list and dictionary. Now we'll go with tuples. Tuples is similar to list, not but not same as list. It is similar to list. Why? Because it will also store a set of values. Like here, I will show you t1 equal to and some value. But here, instead of brackets, it will array brackets. It will use normal brackets. So here, if I store values, it will store in that tuples. So t1 will get the data, and as well as if you try with t1 with type, so you'll get the type is tuple. Now, what in by this tuple? It can store a data in a form of integer or a string or anything. Here, if I can store any string or I can store any number with digits, fractions, and everyone. It is possible with tuples, like same as dictionary. But the main thing is what if we try with 0 colon 3, so here it will give you that result as well. But the problem is what it will basically use for reading purpose. So remember, if we have huge amount of data like big data or multiple servers or many things, if you want to fetch the data and we want to store the data, that time we use tuples. Here it will use for modification purpose. Modification purpose, that means you can change elements inside there, elements easily, because this is normal thing, and here it is basically unmutable part. So that means you cannot change easily the elements whatever you specify here. It's not possible to change easily. So this is the main thing, and the purpose of this is basically it is used especially made for reading purpose. First time write, you need to write a first time, and then always we need to read it. So this is the purpose of tuples. So suppose I can start like this. If I try with t1 and array of 0, so it will give me value. But if I try with 11, it will give you, it is not supporting. Tuple object does not support an item assignment. So this item I'm trying to assign with this particular element, particular position number. So it is not possible with tuple. Okay. So this will generate an error. Why? Because it is immutable. This is called immutable. This feature is called immutable. When you define first time, it will make it as a in memory, and that memory is called private heap. So sometime in an interview, they will ask you this type of question where the data will store. When you use tuple or list, where the collection data will store. So it is in private heap memory. What is heap memory? It is, you can say it's a memory which is reside in your RAM. You can say it is in RAM, and that memory is allocated by two things. One is operating system. Your RAM is allocated with operating system, and another is application whatever you run. If you made this application with the help of Python, if you make one application with Python, so suppose it is taking 30% memory, 100 in terms of 100%. If you have 100% of 1 GB, so 30% it will take, and it will, this one application will take 20%. So in that 20%, the heap memory will come. So in that 20%, heap memory will come. So heap memory, maybe it will take 5% or 7% like that. So 5 to 7% private heap memory. So this is a memory which reside when you run an application, and that application is based on Python. So this type of memory, we store the data. So this is a very important. Remember, memory type is very faster. So that's why the type tuples is very fast. Why? Because the type where we store it is in heap, and it is preferable if you try to write reading a program. If you are trying to read multiple times, if you write one time and read multiple times, you should use tuples. If you write multiple time reading, so that time you need to use list. So this is the scenario where we use list and where we use tuples. This is the main thing. Remember. So how we'll use this tuples using this, and also it is immutable. Why? Because it is not supporting your assignment after as initializing. So what in by initializing an assignment, I will share with you. So suppose, so this is first time we written rt1 is equal to tuple value 1 2 3, suppose. So this is called initialization. Same value if I try with again t1 equal to 4 comma 5 comma 6, so that is called assignment. So initialization and assignment both have different. So in that assignment, sorry, in here we will write some value. So in that assignment, we will write some value, and before that value, we need to specify indexing. So this is not possible. So this is called assignment. Both sides we will store the value. Now, what is different between assignment and initialization? Initialization, first time we will store the value in particular object. So here I'm trying to store value in that object. First linearly stored object. It is called initialization. Whereas in assignment, we already have some value. Suppose example, a equal to 10. So this is called initialization. And if I try again a equal to 20, that means I'm doing assignment. Why? Because in this case, I'm trying to store with existing object value, and a already contain the value 10, and again I'm trying to store 20. So this is called assignment. So it is like override concept, overriding concept. So this is override the value. Previous one it will remove and new one value will store. So I lost my 10, and this 20 will store in a variable. So this is called assignment. So this is sometime they will ask in interview also, initialization and assignment. Okay. So here assignment is not possible. What they said, error says does not support this object. What type of object? Tuple objects. Remember, the type of object they will specify here. So this is the object of type tuple. How we understand from here? So this is a type of error, type error. So the type error means this type of error object does not support. This is not having facility to store item, assign an item. So that's why we are not getting, we are not able to store. Same thing if you try with L1, and then if I store 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now if I try with L1 of 0, what will be happen? What will happen here? It will store or not? Guys, help me.
Will store.
They will.
Huh. It should work. Why? Because this object supports as assignment as well, but this object is not supporting. So in interview, if they ask you this question, what is the difference between assignment and initialization? Can you guys tell in detail, right? No issue, right? You can tell them. So another thing is what, the main benefit is, write once. This we use write once, read multiple times. This is the purpose where we use tuples. They already have list, but there is a problem with list because list is made of for modification. Anytime you can modify. So for modification, they need to maintain each and everything. So that's why, and the problem is what, they want to maintain all things in data structure area. So what they will do, they try to make another data type, another type of collection, so which will help us make same thing as a list. But the main thing is what, it write once and read multiple times. So if you declare, if you store any value, only one time you need to store. Again, multiple time anybody can read. 1,000 times they can read. So here is the faster. So in interview you can say what is the purpose of tuples, why they need to use these tuples, and this is the benefit is very faster. But no more operations, no modification. So this modification is concept called immutable. So this is immutable means what, you cannot change when you initialize with that particular object. So here I'm initializing, I cannot change this object again, like a short assignment I'm trying to do this is not possible. Whereas this thing, it is called mutable object. What in by mutable object, which will help us to modify. This will help us to modification purpose. So and because of modification, slower than tuple. Remember, this is the advantage and disadvantage. But this will give you facility called modification. So same thing in this database also. If you are trying to make the data, so if you perform some indexing and other stuff, so it will become very fast. Whereas if you specify without indexing, it will become easy to store data, whereas it will create a problem while reading the data. So if you have huge amount of data in enterprise level, so that time you will face this type of challenges. Okay. So let me see the concept called set. Set is also basically we use for the purpose called and operations, like set operations. So before a little bit go in detail, just we'll finish first tuples. What we see in tuples, tuples is also possible, like T2 is also possible with this empty. So this is also called T2, also is a tuple. Why? Because this is empty tuple. Okay. Now another thing is what, if you see here dir T2 and then bracket close. So this method also is possible to use it, but this method requires some arguments or not, we can find out. So these are the predefined methods which is coming from another class. This is called hierarchy from base class, child class, it is coming like that. So like human, they have two hands, two legs, like that. Same thing will come to everyone. Whereas particular things like angriness and other stuff like beautifulness, so this will come for particular parents. So same thing here. Few methods are normal method for only tuples. This is only for tuples, whereas these methods coming from general general methods for all. So in that method, how we can understand normal general method and these methods, this is start with a double underscore. So let me check with this method underscore underscore len. So how I can find out the how to write this method using help t2. If I write here t2 dot underscore underscore len underscore underscore bracket close, so it will give me complete detail. So this is a wrapper and it is coming from the another class, and that class is all things it will give you. So right now you will not understand what is the meaning of this all things, but remember these methods are not coming from that tuples. It will come from another class. Whereas this methods which is count and index, if you see here, if you try with this help and in bracket t2 dot count, so you will understand it is easy to read this method. It require one value, and another thing is what, it will return an integer, return occurrence of values. The same thing we can perform here. And one thing what we can do with this tuples, we can make comparison. So if you have method, or if you have two objects, what objects we have, t2 we have, right? and t will take t3 is equal to some value I will store, single quotation a, single quotation b, I'll store like this. So this contain t3. Okay, so this will store in tuples. By default it will store in tuples. Remember, I never use here brackets. Again, it will by default it will make as a tuples. How we can understand? Using this method, t4 equal to same value. If I try with here, I will store t4 and brackets, and then I checked with t3 is equal to t4. So it should give me true. Why? Because both are equal. Whereas here I never use brackets. So if I try with type t3, and then it will return me tuples, whereas same thing for type t4, it will return tuples. So this is the main thing in tuples we need to remember. And another thing is what basically we can perform any operations with tuples. So suppose if I try with suppose t5 equal to, and then bracket, you can specify one argument, 2, 1 comma 2, it is a normal thing. Now if I try with this thing, it is also possible. So I write here multiply by 7. So what is t5? T5 contain all data, and multiply by 7 means multiply by 7 times it will generate the data. So 7 times it will come because we specify multiplication. So same thing here, we can specify like um, another bracket here. If I specify here another bracket, suppose, now tell me whether it will give me an error or not. Guys, help me. What would be the output? Hello. Here,
Yeah,
what will be the
it will
uh-huh.
give the same output.
Same output?
Yeah, because after
Okay. Uh-huh.
after the comma is there is no value, right?
Right. Correct. Uh, Others, is this statement is correct or something is wrong? Now I just want to check your confidence. I just want to tell you one thing. I told you immutable is not possible. In immutable, we cannot restore object with some values, right? We cannot assign some values. So in this case, I can assign same t5. Is this possible,
No.
No,
Jagdish?
right? No.
Uh-huh. Others? No. Okay, let me check. It is possible. Why? Because here I'm again initializing it. It's not assignment. How we can say assignment T5 of particular element, zeroth element? So this is not possible. Assignment is like this, means specifying particular value with based on index. Here I'm trying with to store the value 10 in this index position of this object. So here it is not possible. So this type of confusion, they will ask you in an interview. So remember, so here what would be the output we will see? It will give you output but different, little bit different. Why? Because here we use some brackets. I know it's not having some value, but remember it's understand the number of brackets we have. So it will not cancel that brackets if we don't have value here. So obviously it will return in brackets. These brackets. Why? Because we multiply these brackets after these brackets. So this will, it will consider as a, one bracket. So it will consider here, it will consider as a one element, whereas here it will consider as a one element. So nested tuple, this is called concept nested tuples. Now let me check with this value. Like if I try with t5 and 2 colon 3, so it will give me output like this, because here is same value, so no response for that. But remember, this is also possible with changing value. So always I'll get these values, this type of values. If I select any one value, I'll get this type of values. Now if I can find out, I can go with len. Len is general function. General function means you can get with anything, whether it is list or tuples or dictionary, you can specify len. Len not start with any object or any t1 or t5 or l1 or l2 or s1. So this is general methods, and that method return a number of elements stored in this object. So basically right now, if you specify like these values, it will slice and it will become simple one element. So here it is called one element, so only one len is possible here. Now another thing is what we can do a little bit tricky here, like a equal to, guys, can you see my screen, right? Or any issue?
No issues.
Huh. So let me try with this example. Now I can go with already we saw a dictionary, right? With the help of dictionary, we can specify some value here, like a tuples is a key and one is my value. So another tuple is my key and two is my value. So this is also possible. That means nested dictionary and tuples combination is also possible. But remember here we need to specify as a single element. So this is my single element. When I try with this single element of 0, if I try with 0, I will get an error. Why? Because in dictionary it's not possible, right? Key element is not possible. Why? You need to specify complete value. So if I try with this value, instead of writing this thing, I'll try with this, so I'll get 11. So this is your key, complete key. So if you specify this complete key, then only it is possible to read the value of particular key. So this is also we need to remember. And another thing is what we cannot specify two keys here. Like I cannot specify like here to I want to find out the two values. It is not possible. It will give an error definitely, right? So this is key error will give you. Okay. Even though you can perform some operations which we'll see in later about that, because we want to combination, we already combined tuples and dictionary. Same thing with we can combine with dictionary with list also. And another thing is what we can perform some operation like other iteration parts also we can do with this tuples. So now right now this is the tuples about the tuples. Now come to the point called set. What is set? Set is basically defined with the help of these brackets, and we just specify some values here. So this is, remember, if I try with set as 1 comma 3 comma 2, and then if I try to display this value, I'll get 1 2 3 in a sequence. If you want to store data in a sequence, whether you specify any position, any value, but it will become in a sequence 1 2 3, so it will become in particular order only. So here you specify in order, and here you not specified any order. So again, it will display in particular order, means ascending order. So this is also possible. Whereas you can store a mixed data type with subset, like S1 is equal to some brackets and then some value, different data types like float and welcome and then bracket. Even here you can specify your tuple. This is also possible. Any type with anything is possible, but you need to follow the rule. What is the rule? If you open brackets, you need to close the brackets. If you not close, it will give you an error. So this is become one complete data set elements. So how many elements we have here, guys? If you tell me the output, if I specify len s1, so what would be the output here? S1, help me.
Three.
Number of elements, 3 or 6.
Three.
No problem. Yes, yes, correct. Why? Because this will become as one element.
One element.
Why? Yes, this is complete one element. So this is the main thing. And one another beauty of set is what, if even if we store data in a form of suppose again if I'm trying to store data in 1 2 3 4 and then 1 3 4 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, some values. Okay, so here it will store this value, it will not give any error, but main thing is what, it will give you only sequence number, it will not repeat that values. So here 1 and 4 is repeating still, but here I am not getting repeated value. So this is the beauty of tuples, that means no duplicates. This is the also a very good benefit with the this tuples set. Okay, any question, any doubt here, still here? So same thing, whatever we have here, suppose if I try with S1 in this open close bracket, so what would be the default type here? Now tell me, if I try S1, what I will get, set or tuple, or set or dictionary, because curly bracket used for two purpose, right? Set and dictionary. So in case if I specify with this curly bracket, so what would be the default data type? Guys, help me.
Set, right?
Set.
Add dictionary. Why dictionary? Because default data type is dictionary. That means previous data type they specify as a dictionary, but they have problem with storing the values. So that's why they use set later. So default is set or dictionary. But if I want make an initialization of default, so I need to use this set. So if I specify set, then again I try with this thing, then I'll get this value. This is the beauty of set. So we can initialize empty set also, and also it is possible to specify some arguments in that. Like here, if I will try here, suppose I have one set 1 comma 3, some value 1 comma 3, and then if I try to display it, I'll get that value. But if I try with this is position, so it will give me an error. So with the help of set, we cannot fetch the value. That is, indexing is not possible with set. Remember, indexing is not possible. Now, one another question comes: how we can read that value if it is not possible, or how we can add that value if we don't have indexing concept? How we can add or read that value? So same thing here. We need to specify. We need to check with the help of dir. Dir will help us to give the data. So dir will give you the data, and if you specify s1, you'll get the all data. Now here there is one concept called add. I just want to add some value in that particular s1. So I have 1 and 3. I just want to add some value like s1 dot add. I don't know how to write, so I'll use help again, and then add open close bracket. So this require what? Add an element to set. There is this has no effect if element is already present. So remember, if it is already present, it will no effect will happen to your set. So whatever you specify, it should be unique. It should not be available in this set, otherwise it will not affect to your existing set. So let me try with this some example. S1 dot add, and then I'll specify here 5, 4, and enter. So when I try here with this example called S1, so I'll get 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 4. Again, if I try with 2, I'll get S1 as 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, if I try with 4, so what would be the output? Same output. It will not change.
3,
Why?
4.
Because yes, they said this is the output. This will not affect your set. This is the main thing we need to remember. Even though we can add multiple, we cannot add usually single values. We usually use multiple values to add in that. So how we can add? Using update method. We can add using update method multiple values like 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7. So what would be the output of my set now? Already I have 3 and 4. Again I am writing 3 and 4. Whether I will get error or what would be the output?
It will give unique, right?
Definitely. Yes, this is the rule. Yes, we need to follow that rules. So in this case, I'm specifying some values which is already available in this set. and here I don't have any value which this value is not available, so I'm specifying this update require list. Remember, this is called list, how we understand with the help of the symbols. So I'm updating this my s1 which contain these values. So when I update this value, the unique values only will store. Remember, so if I try here s1, I'll get only unique values. 3 and 4 will not repeat as per rule. Okay, getting my point, or any doubt, any question? Now, even though you can go with update and some values, like here I'll specify 8 comma 9 again, comma, and then some brackets, and here 10 comma 11 comma 12, like this also possible, comma 1, like this also possible here. So if I try with s1, what I will get output 1 to 1 to 12. Okay, so 1 to 12 I'll get, yes, here 1 to 12 I'll get. So this is the main thing we need to remember. So that means what we understand with this example, we can store single values, and each value whatever we store, it will become in a sequence order. Whether you specify any time, but it will become in a sequential order. It will automatically sort in internally in that object, whatever we specified the value. Another thing, we can store multiple values at a time with the help of list. So here we can specify list, and in that list, if all elements is already available in particular object, so that will cancel that object elements, and others elements will stored in that object. So this object will comes, okay, at the end. Now here another thing is what, we can specify any type of data here. So here remember, I'm storing as a list, I am storing as a set. So with the help of set and list is possible, whereas dictionary is possible or not? Tell me, as a common sense, dictionary is possible or not? It is not possible. Why? Because in dictionary we have key value pair, and this set will store in a uh, single element object. This is the main problem. So if you want, you can discard it. Now what is the meaning of discard or remove, or you can remove it? So in interview some questions is coming usually s1, if you want to remove particular object element, so how you can remove using a particular element. Suppose if I specify 3 here, and then if I try with s1, so I can remove this 3. So suppose if I add here, so this is possible. Yes, it is possible. Why? Because it will store data. Remember, it will store data as per what we specify. So if I write here Z, again S1, so Z will come here. 1 A B C D Z. Now, if I want to remove some elements from this object, how we can remove? S1 dot remove. I don't know method, so just go with help. Okay. Now s1 object and then method name and then remove. If I try to remove Z, so I need to specify in this order only. So if I try here s1, I'll remove my Z element. Now this is just delink the object element. So this element is linked with the particular s1 object. With the help of remove, it will delink the element. It will not remove from memory. So instead of that, you can use other method which will help us to remove as well as deallocate from memory. It will discard from memory. So method is discard, and this will help us to discard the value. So suppose if I specify like this, so it will remove as well as it will deallocate memory from the system. So this one is removed from completely from memory, and this one is just delink. So this is the difference between remove and discard. Both will change the set, whatever you specified here. It will, that one will remove, but this will remove only link, whereas this one remove from link as well as it will remove from that memory. So we prefer usually discard if we have huge amount of data. Okay. Any question, guys?
So, as you said, uh, dictionary will be used somewhere in the cache related concept or something. So, I just wanted to know like when we will use list and when we will use set.
We use list at the time of modification. If we want, if we have data set of elements, if we have, and we know we are trying to change multiple times, like data scientist part, if they want to perform cleaning operation, that time they use list. If they want to clean again and again and again and again, so they will use list. Whereas uh, tuples will use for just if we store the data and just we want to read that data very fast, so that time we use tuples. Whereas dictionary is used for storing
Key
the
value pair.
key value pair. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And set.
Okay. Set also used for this purpose, means storing the sequence of data. If you don't want to take care about sequence, so that time we use set. And the main thing with the help of set is what we can perform some operations like and or operations. So this is also possible with set. Other side is not possible.
Mainly for
Whereas
the
in other stuff like
sequencing, right? That's what you're trying to say as a set.
yes, the main thing is sequencing. Yeah, right, right. The
Got it.
main thing is sequencing. And another is a set will help us to make the operation or based on set. Let me clear this thing. So we can perform intersection to get what's common in two elements. Let's suppose if I specify here one set 1 2 3 and b is equal to 3 again comma 4 comma 5. So with set